Hello everyone, my name is Alex.
And my name is Robert.
And we are your Mugiwara Authority, your source for all things One Piece and One Piece related.
What's the date today?
Today is May 7th, chapter 746 just came out entitled Stars. Would you like to talk about it a little bit, Robert?
What the fuck?
You know, that's exactly how our last podcast started. I was like, dude, you want to talk about it? And you were like, fuck, dude, man, I don't know.
Dude, first off, the only thing I have to say is, like, what is up with those bounties that Doflamingo gave him? Because, like, the only thing that really bothers me is Luffy's.
Well, Luffy's and Law's, in my opinion, because he's offering a lower bounty than their actual bounty.
What's Law's bounty right
Law's
now?
bounty is higher than Luffy's. It's 440 million. Luffy's
Oh, really?
is 400 million.
Okay.
And he's offering 300 million for both of their heads. Now, he's also offering 300 million for Sabo's head, and we don't know what his bounty is, if he does
probably doesn't even
have
one at the moment.
But you know what?
He might be one of those characters whose bounties or whose identity is buried.
They say that, but when he was introduced and in the Coliseum and he revealed himself, people knew who he was.
Yeah,
so
that was
was
just one of those strange things.
That was a conundrum me and you had both talked about, I think, off a podcast where we were like, is Sabo sort of kind of famous? Because there's some weird like plot holes there then.
Yeah.
You know? But okay, that's a little off topic. Sabo, being second in command of the Revolutionary Army, we do not know what his bounty is, if he indeed has one. But
it's definitely got to be more than 300.
I mean,
like,
that's a hefty bounty, but it would make sense if it was higher than that.
Because, I mean, we're talking Admiral level strength here. So, I mean, like, it would make sense if he's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
At the very least. Like, it makes sense that he's at the same bounty level as Luffy and Law at the moment, but
they're both over by a good margin.
Yeah, they're both higher bounty than
I mean, he might be over. I think that's kind of the point of Sabo, the character, is that he is sort of what Ace was, and Ace was always ahead of Luffy. He was Gary to Luffy's Ash. So I think that is essentially, you know,
poor Luffy.
like Gary had like 10 badges when you could only get 8.
I know. There's no way.
It didn't make sense. What did he do?
Poor Luffy
did he
not
go to
being
the
able
Orange
to catch
Islands
all
and
those
just
Pokemon.
take more badges and just bring him over? Like, fuck it.
I think he just went to different regions.
What a fucking little shit he was.
I
He
know.
was driving around in his car with the sexy ladies.
Because he didn't win any of the...
That's Ace.
How could he drive?
He was a little boy.
He was 10.
This is unrealistic.
And he was driving a car.
He's getting massive pussy right now.
He's 10 years old. What the hell?
So that's basically how I think of Sabo. He's a 10-year-old with a bunch of gym badges, fucking a bunch of girls, and I'm very envious. Fuck you, Sabo. And Gary quit being a trainer. I'm just getting off topic. Fuck you, Gary.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Gary. He quit being a trainer. Okay, he's like, I'm gonna be like my fucking. Stupid.
Well, you do kind of kill his Raticate in the game.
That's Blue. That is not Gary. They are different canonical characters.
I know they're different characters, but they're basically the same thing.
Look, you could say Blue is like Gary, and I could okay. But if you
Gary
say
is like Blue.
if you say Ash is like Red, you are fucking lying.
No, that is wrong.
Red is a motherfucking badass, and Ash is a little fag. So I'm sorry. For anybody who's a fag out there, I love you. I don't think you. If you love cock, this is a bad podcast. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop talking.
I think you're trying too hard, man.
I'm not. I don't want to come off as homophobic. You know, that's all I want to say. I love Bon Clay. Fuck it. I'm not gonna.
Just stop talking.
Hey, Robert,
man.
you saved me for a
Stop
little while. I'm gonna stop.
No, you're not. Oh, but speaking of that, Speaking of all that, did it seem to you that most of the men in Doflamingo's crew might be gay?
I don't know. You know, people were saying that about Whitebeard's crew back in the day. They were saying like Marco kind of gives off that vibe, and I don't know. I never really picked that up from. I mean, okay, maybe he's wearing, fucking, I don't know.
From Doflamingo himself.
But personally, myself, no, I never got that from Doflamingo and his crew. They always just seem flamboyant, but in the rock star sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more like glam rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Designs.
Like literally exactly like glam rock. And I even got that back in the day when we had talked about with Jaya and Bellamy and his crew, when they're all kind of this like this offspring sort of weird thing of the Doflamingo crew. They're all these wannabes, and they kind of feel like they're trying to be rock stars, So it always felt that way to me.
Okay. There was another thing that stood out to me in this chapter.
What was it?
And that was God Usopp.
Well,
I think he's surpassed Captain at the moment.
Yeah, that's one of the fucking coolest things.
And he's announced to the world as Straw Hat Pirates God Usopp. So you have Captain Luffy and God Usopp, whose bounty is now higher than Luffy's.
Even more incredible than that, it was Don Quixote Doflamingo saying 500 million berries, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
fuck
he's
him.
basically just like, of all the people that I hate on this island right now, I hate him the most.
Fuck him. And,
Kill him.
And Usopp and the Totata give us the most brilliant. Oh,
I love that
shit
face. I just love that face. He's all injured, but he still manages to sit up and make the face.
Well, you know his bows are just all over the place. He's just, oh fuck. Oh, I'm so fucked right now.
I wonder if the Giant's gonna go and help him out.
I doubt it.
Because I know most of the people that he saved are still kind of trying to go after him.
Yeah, I doubt it. I think everybody's kind of going after him. And I'm really surprised, if I'm being entirely honest, that Doflamingo's plan is going off without a hitch. I kind of thought people would be like, you know what? Fuck you. We don't care about your money. We're going to fuck you up because, you know, he kind of like set family and friend against one another. He destroyed people's memories and then brought them back. He's been a manipulator of this whole Dressrosa Island for so long now. And really, all these greedy motherfuckers just want the money. So I'm sort of surprised.
Well, at the same time, though, you look at the citizens and all that. I think mostly the people that want the money, they're the pirates. They're the people that were involved in the tournament that were trying to get the fruit and stuff like that. Mostly the citizens, they're trying to figure out the quickest way to bring peace to the island, back to the island or whatever. And I think just because they're starting to remember all this stuff and they're becoming more aware of the situation on the island, it's more like he's, in their minds at least, more powerful than the others that he's trying to get people to attack.
That was addressed in this chapter, in that the citizens, they think that the best plan of attack is to go after these 12 convicts, convicts in quotes, what Doflamingo calls them, the Dressrosa convicts. What they think is the smartest approach is, hey, we have to take down these 12 guys, and then less bloodshed, less people are going to die.
Yeah.
So it's really not about the money to them. You are correct.
It's kind of like playing Doflamingo's game will be the safest route for the people of the island.
Yeah, I agree. And that sort of plays into Doflamingo's brilliance. And also, I really like that at the start of this chapter, the whole idea of his parasite technique, or whatever it was called, is really like it's really important, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really brought into, like, it's like highlighted, and we see, like, literally there's a line there about fathers killing children and friends killing friends, and soldiers killing citizens.
Yeah.
And it's fucking, like, heartbreaking, kind of, you know. And there's another heartbreaking scene down the line a little bit where Luffy and his group, and they contact the other group, and he talks to Rebecca over the Den Mushi
about her dad.
Yeah, and then he explains who Kairos is to her.
And she's just like, she kind of realizes that he was there for her that entire time, even though she forgot who he was.
Super emotional. She cries. Yeah. Earlier in this chapter, also, King Raikou cries when he's seeing all the death, and he's seeing sort of
the parallel between the past event.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
A similar thing that happened 10 years ago is now happening again, and his kingdom is crumbling around him, and there's a lot of his citizens are dying, so he cries, you know. And the only thing it really reminds me of is Vivi, because she feels her own people's hurt, and that's what it reminds me of. You know what I mean?
It's weird, though, the more I think about it, because Luffy's actually taking kind of a direct role in the affairs of the country.
Okay.
And it's just weird. Like, for Alabasta, it wasn't that he was trying to fix the country or whatever. He was trying to help his friend. And with the whole incident at Fishman Island, he knew Jinbei or whatever. He was trying to help out Jinbei. He was trying to help people that he knew. Kaimi, Hachi. I don't know why I forgot his name.
Starfish guy. Whatever.
Papag.
Papagoo.
Papag.
I think it's Papagoo or something.
Is it Goo? I always thought it was Papag.
Whatever.
Starfish man.
That guy doesn't matter.
They start talking, like they just steal the conversation away from him anyway.
I kind of agree. Like, Luffy kind of makes a stand at the end of this chapter and says, like, if I can't just sit around here and do nothing. I have to help.
Right.
And it's
almost
it's for Rebecca. It is for Rebecca,
but it's almost out of character.
It seems broader. Well, but I think right prior to that moment, we had two panels that seemed very classic Luffy to me. And one was, hey, Rebecca, I can't get you the fruit, but I'm going to go fucking kick Doflamingo's ass for you. And and he was just screaming that into the Den Mushi. And to me, that was just classic Luffy. He's screaming.
No, that part was definitely classic Luffy.
And then literally like a page later.
Did I just say Moofy?
Moofy. Did Luffy get a new devil fruit? Did he get the Moo zone?
He stole it from that guard. He stole it from the guard and Impel Down.
Okay, so
it's just that his
okay, and then the page
basically.
and then the page later. Okay, so we get Luffy saying, "I'm gonna kick his ass," and then we get. Let me look. So, boom, boo doo, making music for you all. I don't know if it's out of character so much. Do you think so?
Just not the entire situation or whatever, but his retort to Law. Basically, his response to Law's reasoning and logic.
Maybe that was
the only thing that felt out of character.
Yeah, this panel right here.
Yeah.
Okay, why I think this panel does seem like Luffy. It's the panel where Law says, "Hey, look, I got a plan, and if we do this, that plan gets fucked up, and we have the wrath of an emperor coming down upon us." And Luffy goes, "I don't give a shit. I need to do this." Well,
no, that part's definitely in character.
Yeah, that is absolutely Luffy because he's so single-minded, and he goes for what he wants, and he goes straight forward, and he almost doesn't give a shit about the consequences. And the consequences here are dire.
Is this the manga stream scan?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I read the manga panda.
I originally read the manga panda.
Yeah,
as well.
and in that one, it's basically it's not so much like presented in a way that it's more like Luffy. It's presented like I can't just sit around here and let what basically he's like, what'll happen to this country if I don't do anything, and that kind of just feels out of character. So reading this panel, the manga stream version, it kind of fits a little bit more.
Okay, well, also, could that be a growth within Luffy? Could he be slowly maturing? Because he has been a static character in a lot of ways throughout the whole series. And I think if we were ever going to see growth, it would have been post time skip after the death of his brother, those kinds of things. So maybe he is slowly maturing. You don't think so?
No.
In any way?
No.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're probably right.
Dude, he jumped off of the building holding on to Law and Zoro's necks.
Yeah.
I don't think he's matured at all.
Well, maybe mature wasn't the right word.
And he walked around as Master Roshi.
That was cool. So, I kind of think, like, that's sort of what's awesome about Luffy, though, is that he didn't really need a lot of this growth. He was already, you know what I mean?
He was already a defined character. He'd already gone through periods of growth.
Like the brilliant things about him were in the character already.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like they sort of feel ass pully sometimes when all of a sudden, like, oh, he's a great leader all of a sudden. Like, Luffy was always a good leader. Like, I want to say great. He's a great leader in the sense that he's always there for you, but he's a good leader in the sense that he's not very competent sometimes.
Kind of an idiot.
He's more than kind of an idiot, but okay. Anyway, we kind of glossed over a really, really big detail there, and to me it's one of the absolutely most important things about this chapter, which was just full of really important things, and that is that Kaido is imminent now. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Like, me and you were talking before a little while ago about, we don't really know where Dressrosa is going after Dressrosa. Like, we don't know what this is building up to lead to something else, but it feels like something big.
It feels like it's leading up to either Big Mom or Kaido.
Or both.
That's actually the thought that came to my head as soon as you brought up Kaido, and I was just like, that is going to be amazing.
I don't know.
Because, dude, I don't know if Big Mom or Kaido get along. We don't know if they get along. So, Luffy and them, they may have just straight up started a conflict between two of the emperors.
How would they...
that they'll be involved in.
How would there be friction between Kaido and Big Mom, though? I could understand them both wanting to fuck up the Straw Hats, but where's the friction between those two emperors?
Well, there's this whole thing that...
Nice.
Sorry.
Robert just came in his mouth, and he's going, blah, this is so much. I'm sorry. None of us are wearing pants right now, so we gotta do something to entertain us.
Sorry about that.
What are you gonna say, Nick?
This room is full of semen.
This room is full of semen. Okay, and I don't get to wear shoes, so they don't let me.
Okay. I was...
Back on topic. So
back on topic.
So semen room.
There's the
sorry.
whole...
Semen
room. Back on topic. That was Alex. But you have Law, who's associated with Doflamingo, potentially associated with Doflamingo, has connections, and he's part of an alliance with the Straw Hats that attacked Big Mom. So if Big Mom doesn't know about the dispute between Law and Doflamingo, Big Mom can take that as, oh, Kaido's subordinates or whatever, they're taking a shot at me.
I would say that's a stretch, but we just don't know anything about their personalities. And considering the eccentricities within the characters of One Piece, it doesn't seem like a far-fetched idea to me that they would, without total knowledge of the situation, make a crazy leap and just start killing people and shit, you know? So,
I mean, it didn't take that much for Shanks and Whitebeard to do that one little clash.
yeah, but that wasn't like mass death and stuff. It seemed like they're both
That we know of.
It seemed like they were both fairly responsible. Like Whitebeard knew what he was doing when he was engaging in the war, kind of thing. But also Big Mom and Kaido they seem like they're assholes. So who fucking knows? You know? Or you're right. Maybe they've had bad relations this whole time, and just any mention of each other's name, they just want to fucking. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So for all we know, they just could straight up hate each other. It could be less of like the conflict between Shanks and Whitebeard, and more of a kind of a contrasting conflict in which they just despise each other.
Well, I think there's no way around the idea that now Dressrosa is leading to some kind of conflict with a Yonko.
It's kind of
Kaido
leading into both.
Kaido seems obvious, but in a way, so does Big Mom.
Big Mom's already engaging some of the Straw Hats.
And there's even the looming threat of Blackbeard. He's there, in my
Yes.
opinion. Like,
Well,
he's not entirely uninvolved in this
crew
arc.
is there.
Now, I want to talk about Jesus Burgess a little bit, because to me, he's one of the most interesting variables in this arc.
He
and
wasn't
does
in this chapter at all.
Not a panel. And I want to, to me, he's so interesting because he is strong. He has ties to fucking Blackbeard.
He's extremely powerful without Devil Fruit.
And his allegiances have nothing to do with what's going on in Dressrosa. He does not give a shit about the Doflamingo family. He doesn't care about the Revolutionaries or CP0 or the Straw Hats.
Is he trapped in there too?
As well as we know. We don't know for sure, but I mean...
He could have been like the one that got away.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, that would be crazy if he started allying with the Straw Hats temporarily.
Like, we know he's talking to Blackbeard on the Den Mushi. What if
Yes.
Blackbeard is on his way to say, hey, you got my guy?
I don't think he would be, though.
I don't think so either.
I think Blackbeard would just be like, all right, take care of it.
This arc is too crazy. I don't think we're going to get Blackbeard coming into it. But I'm just saying, you have to look at it from the perspective of that's another emperor that is involved in this arc, if only lightly. He is a factor, which is fucking crazy.
It's weird, though, because Sabo was kind of toying with him.
Well, Sabo's a motherfucker. That's the
He
thing.
is.
He's probably closer to a Yonko than in terms of strength, and I'm not saying he's that strong, but he's probably closer than Burgess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Burgess is probably like a really strong vice admiral, or like close to admiral level, maybe.
They were both kind of destroying that place.
Yeah, but so would any admiral, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Fujitora, and I think everything Fujitora did was casual, and it was crazy.
Oh, you mean how he suppressed his crew just like...
I'm not talking about this chapter, but yeah.
Well, like right there, he just kind of like, I'm blind, but I'm going to blink, and then you're all going to fall.
Well, I thought it was interesting because we got two scenes with Fujitora in this chapter, and the first one, no dialogue, no, not a word from him. He was just sort of surveying and seeing what he wanted to do, and then at the end of this chapter, we get that his course of action that he wants to take is that he wants to take on the convicts. He wants to try to find the Straw Hats and Law, and that's fucking crazy to me. Like, it's so scary. He knows now that Doflamingo is a giant asshole. This dude's a horrible piece of shit.
He already knew.
No, but there is concrete evidence now. It's literally a giant screen in his face. It's all over the place.
Well, it could be a smokescreen, though. He could be sending his crew after them while going after Doflamingo himself.
That's possible. It's possible.
Two birds with one stone.
Well, I think it was mentioned. I think it's in some chapter that Fujitora was trained by a Kainu, and we've seen relations with the admirals and the celestial dragons. So I feel like there's sort of more going on here than we really know.
Yeah.
But Fujitora as a antagonist to the Straw Hats, to our protagonist, essentially, an obstacle to our characters that we care about.
Yeah, he's definitely not a villain, but he is an antagonist.
Yeah, I would not want to call him a villain, but he is an antagonist. In that sense, he is so terrifying, and it's awesome that
it's
he is
actually
part
kind of
arc.
weird because he's actually the good guy.
That's sort of the interesting thing about One Piece sometimes is that there's moral ambiguity when you look at the what's going on. I think I was reviewing parts of the Impel Down arc, and people were saying how Hannibal and Magellan, these are good people, and they're just doing
they're doing their job. They're
doing
trying
their
to do
job.
what's right, what's good for the people.
And Hannibal actually has a brilliant speech, and that's why a lot of people. That's one of the many reasons that people are so they find Hannibal so endearing, is that he has this speech about like.
Latany's always talking about Magellan behind his back.
Yeah, it's funny. But he does have this speech about how he's trying to protect the outside world from the evil people inside of Impel Down, and what Luffy's doing is kind of selfish in that arc.
Yeah, and he's just like I don't care, punches, and then bursts through and releases God knows how many convicts into the world.
Yeah, and I mean, in the 2 years since then, a lot of bloodshed could have happened because of those people being released.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them joined Buggy.
Well, who knows how Buggy was an asshole when we met him. Like now he's become kind of like the lovable goofy guy. But when we met him, he was like destroying a town and shit. He was a total dick.
Yeah, but he was still funny.
No, he was. I've always liked Buggy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. And there are others. And of course, never mind. I was gonna say like that might have had something. He might have kind of helped the prisoners that Blackbeard took, but I think Blackbeard would have got them anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he would have.
I mean, it might have helped though. All the craziness going on and people down. It might have helped, but
dude, just imagine all of the people that Blackbeard busted out under Buggy's control.
That'd be crazy. Well, the thing is, we don't really have any reason to believe that some of the people that he has are much weaker. Almost. That's sort of why he.
That's kind of scary.
That's sort of why he is a legit Shichibukai. Like I believe it. Like okay, well,
he's basically got level 5 at the very least level 5 prisoners.
Yeah.
In his crew now.
And when I think of like Crocodile and Crocodile's speech on Arabasta, and he's talking about Pluton, and he's saying like he doesn't desire royalty or power or riches or any of these things. He wants military might.
Right.
So essentially, I think that's sort of how Buggy got his name. You know what I mean? Like where Buggy
he got
isn't
it
strong,
from military
you know,
might.
he has a lot of might. He has
an
army
a
of
large number. He has a number of assets that he can use.
And okay, there's also parallels, I think, with Buggy and what happened with Buggy, especially during the war, and Usopp today. What is happening with Usopp now?
Poor Usopp.
I feel like Usopp's reputation is growing incredibly, kind of weirdly, like he's stumbling into it. You know,
he's very much just stumbling into it. It's just like he ate the Tatabasco and then just made a blah face, took out sugar, and suddenly he's. Like, all of the prisoners' guards, all the toys' god. It's just crazy.
And this chapter, they all kind of turn on him. But, again, I still think he's like...
most of them.
He's creating ties with these people that are very powerful. And and his name is getting out there. I mean, Doflamingo knows who he is very... I mean, there's no way Usopp is not going to have a bounty after this. Like a government bounty.
You know what's going to be funny? If his bounty is the 500,000 that Doflamingo set. Like, if that's Doflamingo's job within the government is to set bounties.
That would be crazy.
But that would be weird if
he had a higher bounty than Luffy and everybody?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that would be awesome, though.
It would be, but then how would the world perceive the Straw Hat Pirates, almost?
Dangerous. If Usopp ended up with a 500,000 bounty...
Million.
500...
Million.
I was about to say 500,000 million. So that would have been a lot. If he's going to end up with a 500 million bounty, then I don't see why Luffy's bounty wouldn't jump. Or Zoro's. Especially considering he's very, very low in the totem pole.
Well, I mean, as far as the world knows, he's not Soga King. So
as far as the world's concerned, he's two people.
We even got a reference to that in this chapter where Bartolomeo had to be told, like, oh, that's him. And he was like, oh my God, Robin's here and Usopp's here. This is the best. This is awesome.
Sitting there fanboying over Robin.
Okay, we had one page where two guys creeped on two different girls. We had Kinemon creeping on Rebecca. He's like, damn, them titties. And then we had...
Basically.
and then we had
Bartholomew creeping on Robin.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be your slave.
And he's like, wait a minute, no.
And I was just going, I know. I get it. So I mean, and I love seeing Bartolomeo just fanboy when he's seeing all the Straw Hats because honestly, I get it. You know what I mean? Like if I ever encountered them in some weird fucking way, you know, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I would be like, oh my God, look at you guys. Can I have a picture? I want a hug from Robin. Anyway,
out of all of the it's weird. Bartholomew, out of all of the other characters, he's the only one that doesn't really seem to have any allegiance with anyone, except for the Straw Hats. And
well, I think that was even the reason he was trying to get the Mera no Mai, was just to kind of get it for Luffy initially. So, yeah, I don't know. He's just a super fan. It's weird.
I really feel like if anybody joins at all, because people keep talking about how someone needs to join from this arc, blah, 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 which I don't necessarily agree with, but I think if anybody joins, it would be Bartholomew.
I guess I agree. I don't really agree. The problem is people say that about literally every arc. You know, literally.
No, they do.
So it's like, oh, Shirahoshi, whatever the fuck, man. You know, like, I just don't worry about it until...
Shirahoshi gonna fit on the boat?
I envision her...
Is she just gonna swim next to it?
Yeah, I envision her just swimming along, personally.
That sucks for her. She's the only one actually doing anything the entire trip from island to island.
Maybe they get that little thing that Bulma like made, where she used for like 2 chapters in Dragon Ball, where she like go really tiny and get really big, like get normal size. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it was during Dragon Ball, and then she traded it to Roshi, and then Roshi used it to get really small to sneak in the bathroom while she was taking a shit. It was really weird. What the hell? It was weird. So anyway, no, I'm okay with Shira. Fuck, dude. I'm okay with Bartolomeo joining even, but I don't see it happening.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
I don't
not
see,
invested.
I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody joining.
I kind of think we would have to know these characters a little bit more in depth. Like I think there's a few characters that are kind of like possible, like Viola and Kairos. I just don't think it's very likely. You know, it's
especially because they're directly related to royalty.
Yeah, exactly.
And
well, Kairos, you know, it's iffy because they had to fake a death just so he could not really have ties to royalty.
He's got ties to royalty.
He does.
He's captain. He may not be. Well, here's the thing. They had to fake his own death, but it was just announced to everybody that he's still alive.
Oh, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So not only did the people who remembered him remember him, but the people that thought he was dead from the fake death now realize, oh shit, he's not dead.
True. Look, I kind of don't think anybody is a prime candidate for a Straw Hat. And,
Yeah.
I am on the boat of people saying, like, hey, the next person should really be a girl. So my heart is a little bit with people like Viola and Rebecca, but I just don't see any of them joining.
I just really feel that they need kind of a dream and kind of like a purpose.
Speaking of Viola, her devil fruit is so fucking weird.
She can see the future?
She could kind of like see inside people and see what they're really about or whatever.
That?
But also she can make like weird whale monsters come out of her fucking hands. It's so fucking random. You don't remember that?
No, I
dude,
don't.
Dude, it was really weird. Okay. This is 2 things. I watched the newest episode of the anime, and that happened, and I do remember that happening, but it was like it kind of like a refresher of like how bizarre that devil fruit is. Another thing that happened that we were talking about was like who really knows who CP0 is? Are they like are they
yeah.
Well, like I mean in the sense of like are they well known that they are CP members? Well, I don't know if this is canon or if this was in the manga, but when they pulled up to the shore of Dressrosa, their ship, their giant mast said CP0 on it.
I think that's anime filler. I'd need to reread it because I don't recall them ever showing up like that. Because I remember them just being in the crowd, and then Robin points them out.
I remember that too, actually. That's how I remember their introduction.
Yeah, that's how I remember their introduction. I don't recall a ship that explicitly states CP0.
That's what the stupid fucking anime said.
Yeah.
The anime. Oh, it's so weird. But it was a good episode because it was the one where the Totado like held down Robin. I was like, oh, good episode.
We know why you like that one.
What?
We know. We already know why you like that.
I don't think it's a mystery. I think it's pretty obvious. Damn. Anyway, so fucking really good chapter. I really liked it. The implications are incredible. I mean, so many good things happening. The thing with One Piece is we have long arcs, and the build up could be a little bumpy and slow sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I tend to love those too. But when shit gets good, it gets so good.
Where is the Sunny traveling right now?
I believe it was on its way to Zoe.
Okay, Zoe. And they're being followed by Big Mom, and they've already incited Kaido's wrath. Well, they will once they defeat Doflamingo. So that's 2 Yonko that are going to be on their tail. Oh man, I just don't I don't know what to expect for the next arc after this.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a while, but I feel like it's starting to take shape, especially with these name drops of fucking Kairos. It just seems very likely to me that he will play a major part in the next arc. But then how could
Kaido?
Big Mom... I'm sorry, Kaido. I did that actually in my review too. Kaido, yes. But it also seems like it's difficult to imagine in the next arc not having something to do with Big Mom, and maybe the Straw Hats will be.
It might have to do with both.
Maybe they'll be separated for a while, and Sanji and them from the Sunny. Maybe they will align themselves with some other people, and they'll have to take on Big Mom, and then the rest will have to take on Kaido.
Oh, dude. Nami's on the ship, right?
Yes,
and they're heading to Zoe.
I believe
that's
so.
That's all we know. All we know is they're heading to Zoe. Nami still has the Viver card for Pig Woman.
Right, Lola.
Yes.
But we don't know who her mother is, even though the theory is that Big Mom is her mother. We just don't know yet.
That's the theory, but at the same time, I look at Big Mom and I'm just like, I don't see the resemblance.
Yeah, well, One Piece is fucking weird, you know?
True.
That's the thing. So
true, but I mean, like
Tom and Frankie are wait, not Tom. Frankie. Damn it, I've totally fucked that up. So Tom, Frankie's surrogate father figure, and the guy who's his brother, they don't look anything alike.
but they're fishmen, and they explain.
I'm just saying One Piece is weird. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But
It's weird.
but they go out of their way, or Oda went out of his way to explain
He did.
that fishmen and mermaids have
What was
they have ancestral images as opposed to just straight up like, oh, you look like your parents.
What was his brother's name now? I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up. Because it's been a while since I read it.
We didn't talk about the cover page, and this cover
Walrus
page was a
walrus law. Law is a walrus.
No, it was Law, and he was sitting next to a walrus in a suit, and they were both wearing suits, and they were eating fish and talking about shit. It was good.
Law was a walrus.
He was not. It was hilarious though. It was very good.
No man, I think he was a walrus.
I don't think he was. I don't think you're right.
I think he's in disguise as a walrus.
Okay, I'm gonna look up Frankie. Boop 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 boop.
Actually, I should kind of change what I just said. I think he's a walrus in disguise.
Like a robot. So.
Yes. Oh yeah, where'd Frankie go?
Oh yeah, Frankie kind of just disappears and we don't know. I mean, there is a bounty on his head, so it's good that he's just knocked out and immobile still. So I'm happy that Frankie's moving on.
Maybe he was just pretending.
Maybe. I mean, he was talking sort of.
I mean, he was kind of beating the shit up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he was faking because.
I don't know. Is that really in Frankie's character to
Yes.
do that? Has he ever done that before?
100% defense.
Yeah, but he's not like faking. It's sort of similar.
He was in the same pose.
That's true. I would assume.
So 100% faint.
I would assume his upgrade sort of found a way around that, but I don't.
Well, I
think
he said that his upgrade did fix that, but at the same time, 100% faint.
Dude, I don't know.
kind of like in Ippo, the 100% faint look away.
I mean, maybe, man. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I think he just got his ass kicked, and then he wasn't unconscious. We heard inner monologues. So we know he was alive and all that shit. So I think he bolted the second he could. That's all.
It's like as soon as everybody was distracted or whatever, he just left. He might be going to the Sunny. Oh, wait, no, the Sunny's gone. He has no Shogun Frankie.
True, he does not have a Sunny.
Maybe he'll just, like, make one real quick.
Maybe.
Like, he made that bridge in, like, 2 seconds, remember?
Yeah, it's true.
So maybe he'll just make a Battle Frankie, just a temporary one. You know, I kind of like that idea.
So his brother's name is Den.
Den, okay.
I totally forgot that. Like, I wasn't even close. I did not remember that.
I thought it was, for whatever reason, I kept going back to Tommy Boy, Joy Boy.
Okay. Yeah,
No, it's just like, no, that's not him. Think.
Damn, man, I didn't remember that at all. Weird. He wasn't a major character.
He was, but he wasn't.
Well, he was in the
weird.
sense that he took care of Sunny and all that, but
he coded it again so that they could leave the island.
Their ascension into the new world, which was a beautiful scene. Oh, so good.
Whales, laboons.
Laboon is like, oh, is that like part of their pod? Oh, so cool. So wait, who's on the Sunny? We haven't seen Brooke in a long time. Brooke's on the Sunny, right?
It's Nami, Brooke, Chopper, and Sanji.
Yeah. Oh, and the little boy. Whatever.
I don't care about him. He can go fall off.
Why do you hate that fucking kid so much?
He is annoying.
It does not annoy me. He's whatever.
He annoys me. He can go get thrown in the sea.
What is it about? What is it about him that annoys you so much?
Mostly his character.
Oh, well, duh. Okay, but what's his characteristics? What's his fucking name?
His character.
So Kinemon and
Momonosuke.
Right. I mean, he's a little dragon. That's kind of cool.
It kind of is. He's kind of when I think about it, he's kind of like a little fuck. What was that? The Eternal Dragon?
Yeah, no, I thought that too. You mean from Dragon Ball?
From Dragon Ball, yeah.
I think it's just like a Chinese-looking dragon, though, right?
Well, that's what
fashion
Shenron's based on.
But I do feel, and I understand that, but I kind of got that too.
I was just like, oh, that's a little nod to Dragon Ball. Right
Another
there.
one, you know? and when I saw him initially, it was just in the manga, so I didn't see the color because he's like pink, you know.
Yeah. And he's artificial.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely reminds me of Shenron too. It's funny.
Why is he pink?
Just probably to differentiate him a little bit from Shenron.
Well, because I think there is a pink dragon in Dragon Ball at some point, like in the cover, one of the cover
maybe I don't
drawings
know
or something.
I mean, there's only 2 dragons, isn't there? There's the Shenron dragon, and then there's the Namekian one, whatever his name is.
Ooh.
Is that his name?
No. Yes, it is. No, it's Purunga.
Right, Purunga. He's like the buff one.
Basically, it's like I am a buff dragon with arms. I'm a genie. I'm a dragon genie.
He was stronger than Shenron.
Well, he could grant 3 wishes.
And he could bring people back to life that had already been brought back to life, like multiple times.
I don't know if it's that he could do it multiple times.
No, I mean like in the sense that like, okay, well, Krillin's dead and we wish him back. Oh, he's dead again. We can't wish him back.
Well,
Purunga could.
it's because it was a separate set of Dragon Balls. I think
You think so?
Yeah, because I think they mentioned that when Dende becomes the Guardian and creates the new set.
Didn't he also have
his Dragon Balls get 2 wishes, and he can also bring back people from the dead. It's I think it's just once per dragon. The dragon can only do something once.
That is such an asshole. It really is. Like, I'm just gonna make some new Dragon Balls then. Oh, the dragon broke. Or whatever.
Basically.
So stupid.
Dude,
like,
Shenron was afraid of Bills, though.
Like, do you know
that's kind of scary.
why they had to get a new dragon? Like in Dragon Ball, Piccolo kills Shenron, the Piccolo Senior.
What?
Piccolo Senior, he wishes for youth, eternal youth, not immortality. He wishes for eternal youth, so to be young forever.
Okay,
but he can still die. Anyway, it's stupid. But anyway,
well, that's the thing. If you can wish for immortality, but you'll still age, so you would be a really old, brittle man.
Okay, it's not canon, but Garlic Jr. wished for immortality, and I mean, okay, he kept going into the dead zone. It was fucking stupid.
There's this whole thing with time warps and all that.
Have you seen the Team 4-Star, like the version of their version of Garlic Jr.? Like they're making fun of it and whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. Like he has, I wish for immortality, and the dragon and Shenron's like, really? Nobody's ever
done that.
Nobody's ever asked for that. Oh, you nutted up, okay.
Done.
And then he opens up the dead zone. Like, why would you do that? It's like the one thing we could do.
I know, right?
It's so fucking stupid.
He's like, yeah, what do you think you can do to me? I'm just blah blah blah, and then you just boom,
Retarded. Oh my god.
Krillin, hey, Gohan, where are you?
I was like peeing on his face.
Owen's counter goes up.
That was awesome. Why are we talking about dragons? Oh, because Momonosuke.
Yeah.
I should be the one to not like him because I totally love Nico Robin, and he totally like rubs his face in her tits all the time. But I don't care, man.
He does that to Nami
if
too.
I was a little boy,
actually, he does that more to Nami.
Yeah,
maybe that's why I don't like him.
Oh, you like Nami more?
Yeah.
You're a bigger Nami fan?
Yeah, I like Nami more.
Really? I did not know this. Okay, what do you like more about Nami than Robin?
I like her.
Oh, are you talking about physically? You just think she's prettier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's just a matter of preference.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
So yeah.
Actually, I think the majority of the fan base likes Nami better.
I kind like, again, I'm against most of the fan base when I say that I liked her design originally. She was more tomboyish.
Nami's. Yeah.
So in that sense, I kind of liked her design before, and I would have liked it if she was still a little bit more tomboyish. But I still like her.
Yeah, I get no jealousy for the Momonosuke thing. I don't give a shit. If I was a little boy, I'd take advantage of it. He's smart. You get him. You know, you get them girls. I don't care. I'm not like fucking Sanji and Kinemon and Brook. They're like, fuck you, little bitch. Fucking.
I think I'll relate to Brook though, because he tries. He tries ever so hard.
He puts his head on their shoulder, on their laps.
Yeah.
I love Brook.
Poor Brook. So I can relate to Brook.
I'm kind of hurting to see these characters again. Like last 2 weeks ago, rather, we got a color spread from Oda where we finally get to see, you know, Sanji and Nami and all these people that I miss so much, and seeing Oda's art. It's really nice to see them. I just fucking miss these people, you know? So it's been months and months since we've seen all these characters. I mean, you know, all the ones that are currently on the Sunny. So seeing them back was a good feeling for me. It was a good color spread.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an exceptional color spread. I just liked it so much because I love these characters, and fuck yeah, I get to see them again.
I like the military color spread more.
That one was cool.
That one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to when we actually meet back up with them again actually in.
Oh, you mean the crew?
Story, the crew.
The crew meets up with each other again, or we just find out what the hell's going on with them.
I kind of want to know what's going on with them.
Like how much real world? I mean, not real world, but in their world, time has passed since they were approached by Big Mom.
Well, it's the same day.
So hours, maybe.
So yeah, probably a few hours.
Yeah.
I mean, like what they do, they climbed up the castle, they turned the toys back to normal, and that's it so far, right?
Yeah.
Or no, they left when. They left before Doflamingo captured Law.
So was Luffy still at the Coliseum?
Yes.
Okay. So, but it was still probably.
It's been a few hours.
Yeah.
At the least.
They could be decimated. It's totally possible.
For all we know, that scares me. Poor Brook.
If Big Mom was there, like, Yeah.
Dude, if they're decimated, then that just totally destroys our theory about Blackbeard killing Brooke.
Well, I mean, there's no way all those Straw Hats are dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna happen. But worst case, in my opinion, they're probably not enslaved, but you know what I mean? They're
Like
probably
imprisoned or whatever?
Imprisoned, yes.
But if that's the case, then what reason does Big Mom have to... Oh, never mind. If Big Mom actually does capture them, they might just take the ship, because remember, Peckham's and
Tamago.
they were talking to Big Mom or whatever about the treasure, how they needed ships.
Yeah.
Because they'd been they lost a bunch of their ships.
Oh, that's a really good point. I kind of forgot about that.
Who were they fighting against?
I don't. No, I think they mentioned like Law, but not Law. Kid. Kid was like
right.
Kid was ruining some ships.
Yeah,
like, that fucking punk. So, yeah. So,
okay.
Kid. I mean, could play a factor in whatever is happening with Big Mom. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
Kid has an alliance with who? Is it Drake and
No. He doesn't have any connection with Drake. Drake's on his own, and Drake is actually.
Oh, I didn't mean Drake. I meant Hawkins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's with Hawkins and Scratchman.
Apu. Yeah.
So you look at
Drake would probably have more affiliation with Kaido. That's been foreshadowed
he's
since
got
pre-time skip.
Oh man, I don't know if he's joining Kaido because he took down one of his men.
But he didn't, because that guy was still there. We saw him again. When we saw Drake again, he was there. So it felt that way before the time skip. It felt
like he was going to take him down
in order to kind of get his attention and then do whatever he. To me, he was.
But I do feel like he's probably joining up with Kaido.
I wouldn't have agreed before, but it feels that way now.
Yeah,
which kind of bums me out.
I was hoping that he would be against him, but at the same time,
I almost think he might be still. Like he's planting himself in order to get closer.
True. But at the same time, he did leave the Marines, so he does have something against the Marines and the world government.
It doesn't necessarily mean he wants to align himself with Kaido just because
he purposely made himself a pirate, though.
That's true.
So,
but to what ends, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Like at the same time, though, I kind of want him to join up with Kaido because we haven't seen any of the other Shichibukai form any kind of
supernovas.
Shit, yeah, you're right. I haven't seen any of the other supernova try to affiliate themselves with some of the big names.
True. Well, a lot of them have it seems like they're almost divided in a way that they're either kind of irrelevant or they're very relevant. So either they've made a name for themselves, as in Law and Kid, or they've kind of fallen into obscurity and they don't really matter that much anymore. And maybe they'll come back, but we haven't seen or heard of anything from a few of them in quite a while.
Right. Well,
and then there's wild cards like Bonnie, where she's definitely playing an interesting role in the series as it goes on.
It's just one of those things we don't know to what extent her role will extend.
Exactly.
We have the three that we just mentioned, part of the Kid Alliance, or whatever, and then we have Law, who's teaming up with them.
And Law's, of course, made incredible waves. He's become a Shichibukai and lost that title. He was affiliated with Doflamingo. I mean, Law maybe has gotten further than anybody, really. He's got the highest bounty, I think. I'm not sure if Kid's bounty has been upgraded, but
Kid's is the highest.
What is it?
I believe it was... shit, I need to look it up. It was higher than Law's, though.
I'll look it up. We'll just talk.
Yeah, it was like in the 500.
Hey Nick, how much time have we
I believe it was in the 500 range.
Okay. Should we take a break in like a few minutes and cut it and do our next segment later?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll give it like 5 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead and look that up. I believe it was like over 500.
I don't think we've seen anybody over 500.
Yeah, he was like the first.
That's fucking crazy. It's because he kills so many people. Yeah. He's such a sadistic asshole.
Well, that, and now he's also aligned himself with 2 other supernova with relatively high bounties. But look it up just in case, because I could just be wrong.
Apu is one of those weird ones where I have a hard time being that interested, but I like that he's so weird and he's part of the Long Arm tribe and all that shit.
It's one of those things where I don't really care that much about him, but his character is so interesting.
And it's like Hawkins is almost the interesting, or the opposite. Like he's the antithesis. He's sort of dry and like he doesn't seem very wacky. But I'm like interested in that guy.
Yeah.
Or even what the fuck is up with his weird devil fruit? He like just has straw people growing out of him and shit. Like what is he?
I feel like he's a voodoo doll.
Is that why he's able to kind of like predict things and stuff?
Yeah.
Like
It has something
like Coco. He always reminds me of Coco from from Toriko.
Oh, friggin' Coco.
Oh, 315 million?
His name is now Toko.
Okay, so currently Kid's bounty is 315 million. which places him at least below Luffy, and also
315 million.
That's what our producer over there said.
No, that's his bounty pre. That's his bounty pre.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That is his bounty pre-time skip. Yeah, because he had a higher bounty than Luffy, who was at 300.
Yeah,
you're right.
Because he was the highest ranked supernova, and I was just like, and that was only because he killed people.
Which I think is weird because Luffy did so much. He took down 2 Shichibukai, even though they didn't want to make one of those very known. I mean, Luffy did a lot. He fucking there's like pillars of the world government, like things like Enies Lobby and Impel Down. He fucking ran through these motherfucking things.
Well, those
Impel Down was prior, I suppose. Yeah.
Impel Down, the war that did bump his bounty up when they found out he was still alive.
True, but
because they thought he was dead.
Also Sabati, where he fucking punched the sun. Okay, but still, even
scene.
what he was a factor in going through Enies Lobby, that place was leveled. And it was a majorly important part of the world government.
Right.
And
But
he didn't make the Buster Call happen, but he was a part of it, you know?
Yeah. That was stupid Panda.
Yeah.
That was his dumb idea.
It was actually an accident. He was trying to talk on his other Denden movie.
Yeah, he was trying to talk on the silver one, and it was like...
And he clicked the gold one.
And they're like, sir, is that the silver Denden Mushi? Looks at it, makes the oh shit face. Oh, man.
Trying to find
But yeah, we were talking about Pluton earlier.
Okay, you're right. His is higher. His is currently at 470 million.
Okay, I was wrong about the 500, but he's the closest.
And I believe you're right. I believe he is the highest in the series that we've heard so far.
Except for Usopp.
And I don't think it's totally canon, but I do believe it's stated that Ace's was 500 million. But again, it's not 100% canon. It's basically been like presented as.
Well, did they say it was 500 million, or did they say he had basically a 500,000 bounty?
Well, 500,000.
Or sorry, a half billion.
Again, I don't know where I saw this. I think actually it wasn't canon, but Oda made like a wanted poster, and he made a bunch of wanted posters for like a special thing in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And Ace's was 500 million. And Oda's always been very like coy about talking about Ace's bounty, and he would always say things like it's a bounty that people would salivate over and that kind of thing.
Oh, really?
So he'd always kind of like poked at it and said like, oh, it's really fucking high. So he kind of unveiled it, and I'm not sure if that was in a book, like because he makes or there's
like
data
in
books.
One of the log books or whatever,
which also really aren't canon because Oda doesn't write them himself. But I do believe it's mentioned somewhere that. Ace's bounty was 500 million, but I don't think it's completely canon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would trust it completely yet.
But anyway, yes, I believe out of what is entirely canon, I believe Kids is the highest. You're right, 470 million. That's
Holy
fucking
shit.
crazy. So
yeah, earlier we were talking about Pluton.
Yes, Pluton. I mentioned it because Crocodile was about military force, and I kind of feel like that's a theme in One Piece that never really gets any respect, but it's sort of important, really, in terms of like what builds up a character, because I think we're getting that with Buggy. He's a Shuchibukai now, not because he's strong, because he has strong people with him, and I think that's going to happen with Usopp as the series continues.
Well, the mentioning the weapons or whatever, that reminded me of that video you just showed me prior to this. So let's talk about that real quick.
Okay, well, for anybody who wants to check it out, we will leave the link down below. It is a video from Double 4 Anime. He is a very popular YouTube anime and manga reviewer. He has this theory that Monkey D. Dragon is Uranus.
And
Uranus. You know what I'm trying to say.
He's Uranus. Specifically,
yeah,
right there in the back corner.
He is the embodiment of Uranus, and that
similar to how Shirahoshi is the embodiment of Poseidon.
And now there is precedence for that sort of thing, so it is a possibility.
And it's also interesting that he makes a connection to the possibility of Dragon being an admiral.
Yeah, and that's also why Garp would never want to be an admiral, and that's why he was always so uncomfortable talking about it and being in those sort of environments where people would mention that kind of thing. That was interesting. And it would really kind of give credence to Dragon seeing things that would make him want to turn on the world government.
It kind of gives
some shit,
It kind of gives us more supporting evidence for him having affiliations with the Marines or whatever, having a possible affiliation with Belmer.
Potentially, because admirals probably have a lot of people under them if they so choose. Because I think like Akainu, I mean not Akainu, Aokiji, it's sort of like I don't give a shit, you know what I mean? But like if you want to have a lot of people that you're like bringing up or whatever,
kind of like Garp.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder what happened with Kobe.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah. I kind of want to know. I don't care about the filler arc.
So what do you think? What do you think of that concept that Double 4 Anime presented to us that potentially Dragon is one of the ancient weapons?
I like the idea that he was an admiral more. I think it fits his theory, basing the 4 original admirals of the New Pirate Age or whatever on the 4. I forget what they are. The 4 celestial beings in Chinese mythology.
Yeah.
So I think I definitely think that that's a very plausible theory. Being the physical embodiment of
the admirals
Uranus,
have always
though,
been presented to us as like 3. Like I don't know if that's always been the way it is, but it was pre-time skip and now post-time skip. It is so like. I don't know. I guess it
maybe Dragon was their attempt at having more because they already had 3, but Garp was still offered the position after they had 3.
Yeah,
he would have been offered the position of 4th admiral.
And it's almost like what Whitebeard did, where he didn't want to be the pirate king. He just wanted to be a guy, but he wanted to raise Ace into being a pirate king. So maybe Garp was like, I don't want that, dude, but my son is getting really good at all this stuff. So they kind of
huge parallel between Garp and Whitebeard right there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So I kind of Superman. The idea of him being Uranus, it's an interesting theory. Being like if he had like an innate ability, because we don't really know that much about his strengths right now. It could be that he has a devil fruit. It could be that he has this innate ability to manipulate weather or whatever, and that's what Uranus is. But given that the only instance that we've seen so far of someone having some innate ability other than hockey, or having some other ability other than a devil fruit ability, Shirahoshi being the only one that we've seen so far, it would be one of those 1 in a million chances that Luffy is connected to both of those.
Well, that's sort of
and it would also it also kind of takes away from the fact that you look at Pluton. Pluton is most definitely a ship.
Yes.
So we have the very first ancient weapon that was introduced is literally a battleship. So it feels to me more like Uranus should be a ship, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I didn't love the idea that Shirahoshi was an ancient weapon herself. I just didn't love the idea of an organic being an ancient weapon.
Right.
But I mean, it's slowly warmed up to me, so I could see it happening. We just don't know. I respect Double Four and that video, and I really think he did a great job putting this together. So I'm not dissing him in any way, but I do think he made some leaps in terms of like what Dragon can actually do. He just assumed like, well, Dragon could control the weather. He can make lightning bolts. He can do all the shit. I mean, it is
very much an assumption,
and it is possible. It is
very possible.
It is certainly possible, and I won't say it's not because of course we saw those crazy things on Rogetown or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but we don't necessarily know for sure. Yeah, I don't know. There's like 13 different translations for that fucking little island.
The way it's spelled, Rogue.
Right. Well, you know what? I was watching this. I was watching this Pokemon video from the Dex on YouTube recently, and they go over different Pokemon every week, and they went over Porygon.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, this week, and I never put it together that Porygon and Polygon. It's like the same word.
Really?
It's the same word in
you
Japan. No, I never thought. I mean, I knew that they're similar, but they're like the same exact word.
It is the same word.
Yeah.
And he is an artificial digital Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. So I just thought that was funny. I was like, whoa, okay. I never even thought about that. And I guess the whole theme between for Porygon is that he starts out as like very rough data, like he's like very rough video game design, and then he gets smoother and more intricate with each evolution. So he's like, so he's like the evolution of technology.
It's kind of funny because his evolution is literally just called Porygon 2.
Yeah.
And he's just round.
He has a third one now.
He's just round. Oh, he does?
Yeah, he does.
Weird.
I forget what its name is, but it's like floating and very
Porygon 3.
round. They made the connection that it was like Porygon. It's like what happens when a virus infects something. Like that's sort of what happened with Porygon. Yeah, but that's a little off topic. Anyway, you know,
poor Porygon.
It was interesting.
Poor Porygon. So yeah.
So do I think Dragon, personally, do I think he could be, yeah, I think, I mean, he made
possible.
He made some good points. I think you're right, though, that there was more meat behind the concept that he is very likely an admiral.
Yeah.
It seems like he made some very
fits
interesting.
a little bit more.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, Dragon's one of the most interesting like characters and has one of the most interesting pasts. Like I think a lot of us are like waiting and waiting. We can't wait to see what happens with that guy.
But also another point I think needs to be made. You look at Poseidon. Poseidon is tied to the Ark. So if Dragon was Uranus, he would have to be tied to an actual physical weapon or ship as well.
Well, that might be why he wanted to talk to Robin. Maybe he needed to know more about it, and maybe she had learned something through her time reading the poneglyphs.
It could be. Or maybe he just wanted to know about Poseidon, because we're going to be heading there soon.
Well, she knows about Pluton, too. I mean, she knows a lot. So
she does, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to think that Dragon would be interested in what Robin knows.
And for all we know, Frankie has the blueprints memorized.
That's true, too.
So
Luffy's slowly been getting people into his crew that are extremely dangerous just because of what they know.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, man.
I almost wonder how much Brooke knows. Fuck it. Brooke's... He's so silly.
Well, speaking of the whole idea that knowledge is power, pick a word. Let's do that segment.
Okay, well, we do this segment here every now and then. I have the 100 most beautiful words in the English language according to this little thing that I downloaded on the... Anyway,
subjective.
And then I pick a random one, and then we just sort of talk about how we think it has anything to do with One Piece. We learn things here, people. We're learners. Okay, so say something silly, Robert, because I need to open it up.
Flabbergast.
Oh, you know what? Actually, we have to go into our next segment. Should we maybe take a break here first before we get into that? Well, how much time do we have?
We have 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, let's take a break and then we'll come back into this segment.
All right, bitches, we'll be seeing you back in like 1 second. What up?
All right, everybody, we're back. We're going to be talking about some of the most beautiful words ever. We have this list of 100 words or so or whatever.
And sex. Lots of sex.
That too. We might talk about that too.
Wait. I'm just joking.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
So, okay, I agree with Nick. I want to talk about sex now.
Yes, I'm warping your mind. I planted the seed.
I don't think we should go a podcast without talking about sex. All right, guys, let's talk about sex. So, okay, I'm going to pick 2 random characters, and I'm going to see what it would be like if they fucked. I'm just curious. No, okay, let's talk about... Okay, so...
randomly talk about, like, their mutant offspring.
Okay, 100 most beautiful words, how they apply to One Piece. We're doing it now. Boom! So, I'm picking this word. It is dalliance, which means a brief love affair. Dalliance.
Damn.
Zoro and Perona.
I can see that. I'm actually, like, I'm not on a lot of these romantic boats that people have for One Piece characters. Like, I do not agree with, like, Nami and Usopp or whoever the fuck, you know? But I do kind of see Perona and Zoro having a thing. Like, I've always sort of seen it. The first one to come to my mind, personally, is Roger and Rogue.
That too.
Because I don't think that they were, like, in love for years and years, you know? I mean...
And there's basically kind of precedence that he's not the most faithful person.
Well, I mean, we don't even know what their stipulation was. They might have just been, you know, fucking... Who knows, man? But it just... I think about Ace, and then I think about where he came from and all those sorts of things. And then, you know, Boa comes to mind because she always sort of does for these kinds of things, just because she's fell in love with Luffy, and then Luffy's like, nah. And then, you know, like...
was a really brief love affair on that end, but she still loves him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can call that one brief.
So those are a couple instances.
And that was 2 years of him turning her down.
Pretty much.
Damn.
It's pretty fun. I mean,
Sounds like
holy
one of my relationships.
Okay, so another word. Did we do lilt? Which means to move musically or lively?
We already did because we talked about Brooke.
Okay, you touched that one. So I'm going to move down to the one below it, which is lissome, slender, and graceful. Brooke.
Yes.
That was easy.
That was super easy.
I think most of these words define Brooke.
Slender and graceful. I think he would like that, considering he's all bones.
Yes, he is. Okay.
I can just imagine his mother speaking to him right now. Have you been eating?
Okay. Ratatouille. A spicy French stew.
Sanji.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's pretty obvious, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, not as the stew, but as someone who would cook the stew.
Well, also, Oda has stated like which part of the real world, our world, that that the Straw Hat characters or the
Sanji
Mugiwara
is supposed to be
specifically.
from France, right?
Yeah, he said that Sanji was from France. So I mean, even further, that makes more sense to me. Okay, another random word. Okay,
The very top one.
Yep.
Whoever that is.
it says fagacious, which means fleeting.
We already did that one too.
Did we? I'll go the one right below it then.
believe.
Furtive, which means shifty, sneaky. Furtive.
Furtive. Who would that be? Doflamingo.
Kind of, but he's also just kind of.
He's at the very least the shifty part, but shifty, sneaky, kind of also Sanji.
The first
Because
person
he's always sneaking off.
The first person to come to my mind is that guy.
Always sneaking off.
Is that guy from that like one panel where he's the guy who takes the pictures of everybody for the wanted posters, you know?
Okay, yeah, that guy.
he's pretty sneaky. Like you have to be for that job.
But I mean Sanji was sneakier.
Sanji's not like when he's sneaky. I love Sanji. It's so cool. It's like my
Just
favorite.
like he straight up disappeared and he was the only one not photographed, so they had some crappy drawing.
I guess Kinemon's been kind of sneaky lately. He's been wandering around. Want to do another one?
He's kind of is a ninja.
Okay, I'll just start doing like the very top one. Just tell me when to stop.
Right there.
Okay. Dalliance.
What's that mean again?
Okay, I want to go to another random one. Okay. Dulcet, which means sweet and sugary.
Sweet and sugar.
Sugar, yeah. We do better than that.
Okay, sweet and
Dulcet.
sugary. Sweet and sugary. Oh, Big Mom.
Good, yeah, that's a good choice.
Big Mom and
she
her
literally
island
has
of
an
cake.
island of cake, yeah. So
Ooh.
good choice. Okay, tell me when to stop.
Let's see. Let's go with. I want to say this one.
Okay. Offing, the sea between the horizon and the offshore.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's like almost every venture into a new ocean for the Straw Hats. We're going into the Grand Line. We're going into the New World.
Yeah, there's too much of that. Like, there's so much in One Piece.
We're going to Fishman Island. We're going to Sky Island.
So, like,
at the very least, there's four major.
So like all the time, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But there's four major ones.
Yeah.
There's entering the Grand Line, going to Sky Island, going to Fishman Island, and then entering the New World.
I think Oda read that list.
It's
Based
possible.
One Piece on all of the beautiful words.
That would make so much sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. Let's go with that one.
Okay. Eloquence, beauty, and persuasion in speech.
Brooke.
You think so? I
I see your panties.
I think of Helmeppo, or not Helmeppo. I'm sorry. I think of what's his name from the Arabasta saga? You know, he's like VV's guy. That guy who goes me. That guy.
me. No. Oh, her partner?
Yeah. Oh no. He wasn't her partner, but he was
Her
the guy.
butler?
He was the guy. Yeah, their butler. The guy with the big
Igaram.
curls. Igaram. I think of Igaram. He seems like he would speak eloquently. You know.
No.
I think so.
I think Brooke does.
He's always like, and like
Brooke
fixes his voice, make sure it sounds good.
But I mean, Brooke is a gentleman skeleton.
Yeah,
And
He's more like a rock star now. He probably does a lot of coke.
And he acts. He asks very politely to see women's undergarments.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, there's probably others that I can think of, but I can't think of any.
May I do a line
Right
or
there.
two?
Quintessential, which means the most essential.
Oda.
The
The Mary?
Going Mary.
Oda.
Going Mary.
Oda is the most essential to One Piece. Without Oda, there is no One Piece.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with Roger. I think he is the pivot at which all One Piece is sprung from. So I'm going to go with Roger. Oda, of course, is as strong, and a choice is that stronger, really, of course.
I think if I'm going in comic, I'm going or in manga, I should say. In manga, I'm gonna have to say the Void Century.
Okay.
Once we find out what happens, that's basically whatever happened there is essential to the formation of the world as we see it right now.
True, but at the moment, really everything comes from that first page where Roger is about to die.
No, I know
And
the series.
he kicks off the great, Pirate Age.
He does kick off the Great Pirate Age, but in the Great Pirate Age, before the Great Pirate Age, we still had pirates, we still had the Marines. So basically, the political structure and social structure, they were very similar. It's just, now there's more pirates.
Yeah.
Kind of like when Whitebeard said One Piece exists or whatever. Now there's a lot more pirates. But in the Void Century, we know there was literally another country, and that the world government is suppressing information about that country and that century.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's in there is important enough to have affected the outcome of history.
Well, you can say that about a lot of things, though. That's the problem. Like, that's why without Roger in that speech, we wouldn't be where we are anyway. And without the One Piece actually existing. So just literally, what's the most quintessential thing to One Piece? One Piece. Or Oda. Like, there's a lot of things.
But there's also that theory that...
Or fucking Luffy, the main character. You know, all these fucking things.
But there's also that theory that the One Piece is actually knowledge of the Void Century.
Yeah, but that's just a theory. So,
Right.
like, I actually have backing to say, well, Roger is, like, the basis to the series. Like, I could say that solidly, and it's true. I could say without Luffy, One Piece wouldn't be the series it is.
Oh, no.
So you're saying the Void Century, but it's more, it's more of an ambiguity because you don't really know.
For me...
And I'm sure you're right, though. I know it's going to be massively important. I'm not denying that.
I mean, as it is right now, it's not like so essential to the series or whatever. Like, if we never find out what happens, like, it probably wouldn't kill the series. It would be depressing.
Well, as a huge Robin fan, I have to disagree, but okay.
It would be very depressing. I said that it would be very depressing. But
massive plot hole too. If they don't talk about that. So,
but
storytelling would take a huge dive towards the end.
But I mean, if we look at the work as a whole or whatever, whenever it's finished and we look at the work as a whole, the Void Century, whatever happened in the Void Century, resulted in the events that structured the world that led to Oofy. I've messed up his name twice.
Oofy. This time he had a ghost fruit. Oofy. We should make a lot of variants of Luffy's name and just give him different devil fruits. This one's Boofy.
But like,
Boofy.
But basically, if the world wasn't in chaos the way it is right now, it's possible that the world government would have existed to the point that Garp may not have ended up in the military. There's a lot of this stuff that if we look at it as a whole, once it's finished, the Void Century is kind of essential to the progress of One Piece's history.
I'm not saying I don't agree with you. I'm not saying the Void Century isn't massively important, but what you're saying is something that happened so long ago is so integral to what is happening now. Well, we could go all the way fucking back and say that that the Big Bang is why, or the Big Bang is the most important thing about One Piece because there'd be no goddamn shit ever.
It is. Well, did the Big Bang occur in One Piece?
Well, the actual Big Bang occurred, so if it didn't in our world, then we fucking wouldn't have Oda, we wouldn't have One Piece. The stardust that created Oda would not have been there to create One Piece.
How do you know there are not other universes?
So I'm going with the actual Big Bang. I win.
What about before the Big Bang? What led up to the Big Bang?
Fine. I don't know what's going on in multiverse theory right now, but you explain it to me a little, and we'll talk about One Piece.
I don't want to talk about that.
Well, I do a little bit, because this is the theory that I do have, in that the idea of infinity is so fucking massive that you have to understand that literally all possibility is a reality. So what we're reading in One Piece right now is a real possibility, and that excites me so goddamn much. I just love that idea. Now, I know physics is a thing, so I know One Piece is kind of difficult to understand, but also there's multiverse theory where there's different bubbles of different universes where physics could be playing different games, and at the smallest levels, physics is playing different games. So who's to say? Well, everything is relative, man.
Well,
One Piece could be happening.
It
is!
No, I mean, it is very possible because there's this idea that other universes could have completely different sets of physics.
Yes.
Completely different rules. So basically, in one universe, it could be possible that life for us could not exist.
Okay, if you could live in any fictional world, if there are different bubble universes playing by different physics, and which world would you want to live in? Would you go to Bleach? Have your Bankai? I know you're a Bleach guy.
Wait, if what?
Okay, so literally just pick a different fictional universe. We don't even have to get about like real talk. We could say like, I just want to walk into a different fictional universe for fun. Where would you go?
Omagadoki Dobutsuen.
Dude, come on.
I want to go there.
Okay.
I want to go and see all of these animals the way that they see them as people.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
For those who don't know, that was a short-lived shonen manga series that me and Robert are both very into, and both still very upset that it got canceled way before its prime.
Way before its prime.
Okay.
Very good. You should read it. Sign a petition.
Anyway, yeah, I can't not live without the idea that One Piece is real somewhere. It's the only way I keep functioning.
It's possible. It's one of those things.
No. It's not possible. It is a reality because literally, I don't know who I got the quote from, but there's a quote that says literally everything that you could imagine is reality. So it's reality somewhere. It has to be because that's what infinite means.
But infinite is just a concept. It's not necessarily real itself.
How do you know that?
That's what I'm saying. It's possible. Possible goes with infinity.
Are you trying to shit on my dreams, Robert?
Yes.
That is going against the spirit of One Piece. This is a Mugiwara Authority podcast where we talk about One Piece and all things One Piece related. You're ruining this.
No. No, I'm not. I'm saying that it's possible. For someone to believe one thing so crazy.
Well,
So, well, it's possible.
you want to do another word?
Let's do
Okay.
screw it. Let's just do another word.
Okay, let's do another word.
We just randomly went off topic.
We're in 13 minutes. You want to do?
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm picking a word. Boom.
Okay, that word is inglenook, which means a cozy nook by the hearth.
What the fuck?
Yeah, inglenook. Here, I'll let you read it. I'll put it to the top of the page.
Inglenook. A cozy nook by the hearth.
Hearth with an H.
Hearth.
I'm not sure what hearth is.
Hearth. A cozy nook by the hearth.
The only thing I can relate to is World of Warcraft.
Well, I don't
I'm
know if I'm anywhere.
I'm still thinking the library.
On Ohara?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking the library.
Because it was like her haven.
Well, it kind of was a nook in a sense. Like it was inside the tree, but like when I think like a nook, like nook and cranny or whatever, I think like a nook in the tree or whatever, you're like in the roots or whatever. So I'm thinking the tree in Ohara.
Okay.
I can't really think of anything else.
Floor of a fireplace, usually extending into a room and paved.
That's what the hearth is?
That's what hearth is.
So in
explain it one more time. Sorry.
Let's see. The floor of a fireplace, usually extending into a room and paved with brick.
Okay, so it's basically a nook inside of a fireplace.
Okay. That brings to like no imagery to my mind with One Piece. I don't know. I don't think.
Well,
they're rarely indoors. Okay, wait.
Well, I was thinking Ace.
Did Cricket and the Monkey Alliance guys did they have a fireplace?
Did they have a stove in their little fake castle house?
did they? I don't fucking know. Man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one.
It's possible. I keep thinking Ace because he's made of fire.
Okay, fine, Ace, whatever. Fuck,
But I mean,
enough for me. Okay,
yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, Sabo. Sabo has the fruit. They're kind of in a nook in.
Yeah, we are stretching.
Yeah, I don't know. We're stretching it.
Yeah. Well, you see Sabo fire, man, and he in Earth, so Earth. Well, we win.
Close enough. Yeah. So basically, that is the only word that we cannot think of anything One Piece for.
I like your logic.
So far that's one word against One Piece, which that word needs to change.
You know what? I think I'm gonna keep thinking about that word until I get something. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Because I know there's probably a scene painted somewhere where like, okay, that actually makes sense to that word, but right now nothing is coming to mind.
Right.
So
I can't even think of any instances of fireplaces.
Me either.
It's weird.
Shit. I mean, literally, there was like Christmas imagery throughout the Drum Island arc, and I still can't think of like a fireplace thing. Oh wait,
I know,
was there?
right?
No, I don't think so. Fuck, I can't think of anything.
Actually, in the house when Nami's ill.
Yeah.
So probably somewhere on Drum Island. We'd
We'd
have to reread it.
it and shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to reread all of One Piece looking for a fireplace. I found one.
All right. Yeah.
This shit is such a little nook.
Okay. Now we know our goal for next week. We will talk about that next week, and that is it.
Okay. Do you want to do one more
Well-
before we move on to our last segment?
I say we keep doing more.
He just wants to go all night.
This one.
Nemesis, which means
Blackbeard.
an unconquerable archenemy.
Blackbeard.
I mean, that is
Blackbeard.
the consequential choice, which means the most essential.
Blackbeard.
He's the most essential choice.
So we just found the quintessential nemesis in One Piece.
I'm putting these brand new words together that I've never heard before. My diction is growing so massively. Oh, my diction is so hard right now. Oh, I love what One Piece does to my diction. Okay, I can't disagree. Blackbeard is absolutely the fucking villain of One Piece. I mean,
He's probably the most important.
If he's panning out the way me and Robert think he's panning out, and believe me, we think he's panning out in a horrible, fantastic way.
Horribly fantastic.
He is going to be one of the craziest fucking villains in fiction history, for sure. So, yeah, he is the One Piece nemesis. There's other people that fit this role as well, but Blackbeard, dude. Fucking Blackbeard.
Like, Akainu fits the nemesis role, but he's not quintessential.
But I think he is. But but Blackbeard is essentially quintessential. he is uber quintessential. Here's
Here's the thing.
If you had to choose one,
Akainu is essential.
Mm-hmm.
Blackbeard is quintessential.
I will agree.
Come on.
He's the most. I agree. Like, again, if you're choosing one, Nick, do you have a different opinion on this?
No.
Producer Nick, Blackbeard, do you agree?
He agrees that Blackbeard. All right. So
I mean,
that's 3 votes
well,
for
we have to
Blackbeard. All
understand,
right.
though, it's really crazy that we're all so in unison with this choice because Blackbeard really hasn't done that much yet. We're all building to what is going to come with Blackbeard. It's almost like his promise is fantastic, where we don't know where he's really going yet.
Well,
Yeah.
Look back. What's before Blackbeard then? I mean, you have
in terms of villainy,
Yeah.
like who?
There really is no villain
Yeah,
prior
exactly. You
that
have
we know
Roger.
of. That we know of. Just because we don't know much about the era prior to the Straw Hats.
Mhm.
So it's possible that when Roger was out sailing the seas, there was a quintessential nemesis for him.
I mean, I imagine so, almost. You
Right.
know? And I'm sure it was something more than like Garp. I'm sure it was something like
Quintessential nemesis. I like that.
Yeah. Other than that, I can't think of anybody else.
Well,
I mean,
if we're talking about great villains in One Piece, you can't not talk about the Anils and the crocodiles.
Right.
But if we're talking about the archenemy, I mean, it literally says archenemy. That is in the definition.
He's
So,
definitely the arch enemy.
Yeah.
He's the longest kind of running villain that we've seen that
I agree. Yes.
has had tension with the Straw Hats. I mean, Crocodile is still out there,
but
but
he's kind of become this
he kinda-
anti-villain.
yeah.
I mean, anti-hero. I'm sorry.
anti-hero. Yeah, he kind of allied himself temporarily, so he's not so much a nemesis.
And I don't imagine when he comes back, we're all going to be like going like, "Oh, look, it's evil crocodile." You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Like, woo, crocodile. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be happy.
It's gonna be Crocodile with his dreams again.
Yeah, Blackbeard comes up. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's much more of a fuck. What's going to happen? Who's going to get punched really hard?
Poor Brooke. I'm so sad for Brooke.
That's like the most exciting question in one. Like, who's getting really, really hardly punched? Is it Luffy or is it the other guy?
Poor Brooke.
What about? Oh,
I'm just really sad about our theory.
yeah, our theory that that Blackbeard will kill Brook.
Yes, which will make him the greatest, most horrible villain of all time.
I agree. I don't want to think about it. It makes me sad.
I'm picking a word. There we go.
Okay, that word is serendipity, which means finding something nice while looking for something else.
Brooke.
Dude, you can't just say Brook for everything.
Yes, you can.
It fits though, so.
He found stardom when he was looking for panties.
You win. I'm not gonna. I don't think I need to embellish on that. That is the correct answer. Yes. It's funny. I never thought of serendipity like that. I kind of always thought of serendipity as fate, like a serendipitous event.
I always thought of it as kind of like peaceful.
Strange.
Yeah.
So
Learning stuff.
So it's finding something nice while looking for something else. Crazy. I didn't.
Serendipity.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Want to do another one?
Yes. Well, I kind of want to know what you were going to say now.
I don't have. I was gonna say Brooke, but I was gonna say a much more boring answer. We're like, oh, he found the Straw Hats when he was like fucking all that shit.
Oh, really?
You got into panties, dude. You win. I said you win. I am proud of you. You learned well.
Next segment, dude. We're at 21, so
Yeah, let's keep going.
Very last word then. Very last word, and we will move on to our final segment because
it's gonna
right.
take a while.
Yeah. Okay, pick one more, dude.
I did, and then you flipped it away.
Okay. Strange. I did not know this meant this. So Malefilis, which means sweet sounding.
Sweet sound.
Malefilis, because the movie's coming out, Maleficent, with Angelina Jolie, where she's playing the Disney villainess,
I was going to say
so,
Brooke again.
So, yeah, I mean, it actually kind of works because he's the musician, of course,
Yeah.
and Bing Sake is so beautiful. So Bing Sake is Malefilis. Wait, am I saying this right?
Malefilis.
Wait.
Malefilus.
You read it. I'll put it at the top again.
Malefilis. Mellifluous. Mellifluous.
I think it's Mellifluous. Read it, Nick.
it's
Top.
spelled Melli
Nick has it.
fluous. So it's the I that we're having trouble with. I think it's because we look at Maleficent and they do put an e sound, so it's probably Mellifluous.
I think
Mellifluous.
I think it's Mellifluous. Yes.
So it's Mellifluous.
Mellifluous. I'm sorry. I misspoke. So Mellifluous, which means sweet sounding. And Brooke does actually fit it pretty well. Of course, he is the musician, so it kind of makes all the sense in the world. I can make a sex joke here. I'm not going to. So, Yeah, I don't know. Brooke. Fuck. It's like most of this list is Brooke. Brooke. This is just
Because he's so awesome.
The 100 words that define Brooke.
He somehow fits with a crook in the hearth.
Okay, so should we be moving on to our last segment now? Yes?
All right.
Every arc ever, each episode we rank an arc and we put it within our master list. So far we have 3 arcs down. We have the Paramount War,
The Paramount War, number 1.
We have Jaya, and below those 2 we have Little Garden. So last week, well, actually 2 weeks ago, we didn't get to it, but whatever, fuck it. This week we are doing the Barati arc. The Barati arc. The Barati arc! Which is, in my opinion, probably amongst the most underrated arcs in the series. It does not get the love it deserves. It's really good. I don't fucking get people. Love this arc.
I like how 4Kids made the darts into, like, little suction cups.
Yeah. You know what? That's when I saw that scene. Like, I watched it, and I thought that was some real shit. I was like, oh, no, he got suction cupped.
It was like, oh, God, he got poisoned through suction.
It's way less epic when Luffy pulls off a suction cup. So,
well, I was thinking that must have been some crazy poison dart frog poison shit.
So some of the things I love about this arc are, for me, this is our first like juicy flashback. We get a couple chapters. We never got that prior. We had 2 flashbacks prior to this, which are Usopp's and Zoro's, and they're both very short, like a couple
pages at most.
Usopp's is like a couple panels, and Zoro's is a few page. Yeah,
I thought Usopp's was a page.
I think it's literally like a page. It's really short.
Okay,
and Zoro's is a few pages. Where
sad.
Where Sanji and Zeph's is like 2.5 chapters. So we get a little bit more time in this flashback. It's a really good flashback. The problem is the next flashback is so fucking good. Nami's flashback is so amazing that it steals the show.
It's kind of the precedence for flashbacks.
Yeah, it is sort of what sets the bar. So it doesn't live up to that. I won't really defend it in that way, but it's really good still.
It is a really good flashback, and it's kind of unique.
And you know what? I was reviewing this flashback recently on my YouTube channel, and I made the parallel between Zeph and Whitebeard in that I think Whitebeard's relationship with Ace and Zeph's relationship with Sanji are actually a little similar.
It is pretty similar,
because they're kind of vicariously living through them, and that Zeph's whole dream is to find all blue, and now that's what he wants Zeph to do. Where it's not Whitebeard's dream to find One Piece and become Pirate King, but I think he knows how important that is. It's like a goal maybe in life, you know.
Right,
so he's living vicariously through Ace in that sense as well. So also a Shanks parallel in that he gave up his fucking leg so that, you know, Sanji could eat, and Shanks gave up his arm to save Luffy.
And Whitebeard gave up his life.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Ace was dead, but yeah.
He gave up his life trying to save him.
So I think this flashback is really underrated. I think Mihawk's introduction into the series and the whole idea of Shichibukai really helps round out the entire world of One Piece. I've always made this parallel that Toriyama would never just drop Frieza into like a Dragon Ball arc, like the arc where like Goku's fighting fucking
He wouldn't have like a major powerhouse.
Yeah, just kind of wander through and go like, oh, you guys are like tiny fish, and then just wander out. You know what I mean? Which I loved in One Piece because it made me go like, it's not like each new villain is a next step of strength. You know, there are guys out there that could decimate everybody in the series at the moment.
And they show up relatively early.
Yeah, so and he comes up and he makes a major impact. We have that beautiful scene with Zoro where Zoro like basically like cries at the only time a 17-year-old, or I'm sorry, 19-year-old or 21-year-old Zoro, like a man Zoro, a young man Zoro,
basically
cries
the only time we've seen him cry.
And he calls Luffy Pirate King, and he declares that he will be the best swordsman in the world. He's never losing again, and he has yet to lose. Fuck.
And he's bored in all of his fights so far post time skip.
So the general consensus in One Piece is, hey, if you're gonna start reading One Piece or watching One Piece, get to the Arlong Park arc. That's when it gets good. Fuck those people. The Barati arc does not get the love it deserves. It's a really good arc. I even like Dawn Creek. People don't like Dawn Creek. I like Dawn Creek. I think Dawn Creek.
I think personally, I don't like him in the good way.
Okay.
So because he's kind of portrayed as a dick, so I don't like him because he's a horrible person.
So he kind of has like good heat with you, and that you want to see him get his comeuppance a little bit. So when Luffy's fucking him up, you're like, hell yeah, fuck that guy.
Get out of here. It's like,
I almost like him.
Kick his ass.
I almost like him as a piece of imagery more than a real character.
The whole idea of Luffy destroying the pride, like his prided armor.
Yeah, well,
weapons.
even just their first interactions when they're talking in the Barati. Okay, so Don Krieg is standing there, and he's literally like almost twice as tall as Luffy.
Right.
He's clad in gold armor. He's got this gray hair. He looks like a veteran of the seas. He's been to the mythical fucking Grand Line and back.
It's crazy.
And Luffy is small and unassuming, and he's a fucking busboy.
Right.
So just the difference in imagery there.
Sanji?
No, Luffy. Luffy's a busboy because at the start of the arc he makes he makes a giant hole in the Barati with a with a cannon. Like somebody shoots a cannon and he shoots it with his fucking balloon and it
just bounced into the Barati.
Yeah, and it almost kills Zeph, and then so Luffy has to be a busboy. So he's wearing his normal unassuming clothes, but he's also wearing a fucking apron. He works at this fucking place. and here's Don Krieg, who seems like such a veteran of the seas. He's being called the strongest man in the world by his crew, which is bullshit, but he is strong. So literally as a piece of imagery, I love Don Krieg, and then I love that Luffy literally breaks down all those pieces of him.
Right. It's weird though because
he humanizes him.
It's weird though because I think that's part of the whole symbolism. You said that he is strong or whatever, but it was more that he relied heavily on weaponry and armor and stuff. He didn't really rely on his strength.
Well, that's also the overall theme of the Barati arc is like military might. You know, I mean, we talked about it earlier in this, but this is like kind of our first look at it. And, well, I guess Buggy. Well, fucking.
He had an armada, and that's what he entered the Grand Line with. Was an armada, and then
it was very ingrained in the Don Krieg character that he really doesn't want to fight brute force. He wants to use all his crazy weapons and shit.
Right.
But when he does show his brute force, he's really strong. He's a strong guy.
His crew does get totally decimated.
And I think that they had real reason to believe that he was the strongest man in the East Blue. Like, it really makes sense. So, in my opinion, an underrated...
Well, up until Hawkeye showed up, and at which point they were just like, well, fuck.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but even Hawkeye just leaves, you know?
He kind of showed up, and he was just like, all right, I'm going to finish what I was doing earlier. Okay, now I'm bored.
Yeah. Well, no, I actually think he was intrigued by Zoro.
He was.
He was like, okay.
He was bored up until that.
Yeah, and then he was like, well, this guy's interesting. I thought he literally beats him up with a toothpick, but, you know, crazy. Okay, that's another reason that whole fight scene was so crazy. He beats Zoro with this little fucking like 3-inch blade.
Yeah, he beat him with the
sword. I mean, the little like his necklace,
his little knife Tonto.
Yeah.
Dagger thing.
So, I mean, just from the whole Mihawk interaction alone, I feel like this arc is so good. And I love the Barati as a setting piece. I love the way it looks. I love Zeph and all the other
crew members
of
the
chefs
Barati
and all that. And again, an underrated flashback.
We're also introduced to what's his name? The guy with the knuckles.
Jin?
Is that his name?
Yeah, so I was going to mention them. People also don't ever really seem to want to talk about... I mean, they don't mention that, I think, in terms of secondary villains and stuff, in terms of like henchmen,
right.
We get two major ones. We get Jin, who is really a better developed character than Don Krieg, and we get Pearl, who nobody likes. I kind of like him.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting people mixed up. I'm talking about the Marine.
Oh, full body.
Yeah, full
I'm sorry.
body.
Yeah, no, Jin doesn't have he has like these like spinning ball things that he...
Right.
Fights. Yeah. No, full body. Yeah, we meet him. So that's important.
It kind of is. It foreshadows his relationship with Django.
Which is also very important.
It is very important because he joins the Marines.
They're basically Hina's bitches, so yeah.
It is very important because Hina is also in a relationship with Smoker, probably.
Okay, well, I wanted to mention that the henchmen are really good. Like, Pearl, nobody likes that guy, but I like him. I think he's fucking funny. He, like, catches on fire, and he's got, like, a shield.
He kind of had a weird design. Like,
very strange design, but I thought it was funny. I liked him.
No, right. It was strange in a good way. It was strange in a good way.
I don't know if you remember, but they mentioned that Pearl was actually brought up in the jungle, so, like, when he gets threatened and when he gets hurt, he, like, catches on fire. It's really weird.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He grew up in the jungle, so when he's scared, he catches fire.
Yeah, well, he's wearing like armor, so I think he like clings it together and
he sparks himself so that he can create fire. So basically, it was kind of a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody likes that guy, but I always thought he was pretty funny, and he's not around for very long, so I don't really get time to hate him. And
his armor gets destroyed pretty easily by Sanji, right?
No, by Jin. Jin is actually the one to do
Jin?
it. Yeah, because he's actually beating Sanji up, but only because Jin has a gun to Zeph's head, and he broke Zeph's peg leg.
I don't know why, but that was funny.
Yeah, Zeph's on the ground, and Jin has the peg leg in his hand, and he has a gun to his head.
He broke my leg. Peg.
So Sanji doesn't really defend himself while Pearl's just fucking him up, and then because Jin was helped by Sanji when he was starving, and that's the whole point of the flashback. We know that Sanji and Zeph know what real starving is like.
Right.
So we understand why they take food so seriously. It's similar to Nami in that we understand why she is a thief. We understand her relationship with money.
Why
after
money
her flashback
is so important for her.
Yeah, so again, really underrated arc, but there are some faults. I'm not going to say Krieg is a fucking brilliant villain or Pearl's a great henchman, so those things might weigh it down a little. I don't know, though.
Jin had some really redeeming qualities.
I think Jin... personally is very underrated as a character.
Right.
He had some really nice interactions.
Do you think he's dead? I think he's dead.
We don't know. We just don't know.
Well, because we haven't seen anything about Don Krieg. We haven't seen anything about Don Krieg and Jin. We haven't seen anything about Kuro. Those are three major characters major at the time that they were introduced that we haven't seen post time skip or in any where are they at now panels.
True. So I don't know. I know Oda hasn't forgotten about them because there's even more minor characters like Gaimon who have shown up. You know, they're literally there for a chapter.
It's like, what?
And they have shown up. So I know Oda isn't the type to forget about those kinds of people. I don't know if that's going to be something that plays into the series later on, or maybe they're all fucking dead. Well, not Kuro, but you know, maybe all of the Dawn Creek pirates
He's behind the war, man. He's behind the war. He's manipulating everybody right now.
Because if any of you listeners out there do not remember, Dawn Creek kind of poisons his entire crew. So yeah.
Because he's a dick like that.
Well, he's about that kind of thing, like that military thing, you know, where he'll just gas everybody in order to kill like one person. So again, I think it's an underrated. Well, for me, it was sort of where I fell in love with One Piece. I think that's why I kind of have a close personal attachment to it. I will not say it's better than the Paramount War because I'm not fucking delusional. And as much as I love the Barati arc, I still don't think I could say it's better than the Jaya arc, which is one of the best short arcs in the whole series. One of the best setup arcs. It
is
in the whole
very
series.
much the best setup arc.
Like if I'm thinking of a better short arc, like Sabri Archipelago comes to mind, maybe Drum, and that's it. Like there's very few. Jaya is that good. So I love Barati, but I do think it's better than Drum personally. Would you put it there as well? Oh, not Drum. I'm sorry, Little Garden.
Not Drum. I was about to say, what the hell are you talking about, man?
No, I'm sorry. We have not done Drum yet. Little Garden though. Little Garden is our bottom of the list at the moment.
Yeah, I would have to put it above Little Garden.
Okay, so that would put it in number 3.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I think we have to agree there. I kind of want to fight for it and put it ahead of Jaya, but I'm not retarded.
No,
so I know,
do not do it.
I know it deserves to be where it is, but again, underrated arc. It's really good. It's fucking a fun arc, dude. Mihawk, we really get an idea of what some of the top of the world guys are like, and guess what? They're fucking monsters.
They are.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of strength and all that. We see them, especially when we see them in the war.
Yeah.
It's kind of made much more apparent how strong these guys really are.
And another aspect of this arc that I did not mention is that if you're reading the series and you have no idea what's going on later on down the line, Nami is a weird character at that point in the series still, and that you don't really know where her allegiance lie. You don't really know if we could trust her yet, and she fucking backstabs the Straw Hats and moves on. She pushes Johnny and Yosaku off of the Mary, and then she just
hijacks the Mary. Yeah.
And I do think
it's kind of interesting when you think about that, because at that point in the series, they're kind of screwed without Nami.
Yeah.
Like she's perfectly fine navigating the seas or whatever. They are not.
I don't
especially
know.
if
I
Zoro.
kind of don't know how she manned Mary by herself still, because I don't think that's really possible. But hey,
I don't know how she did it either. But I mean, like, you look at like if Zoro, I'm still surprised that they made it there, because it was Zoro and Luffy.
Yeah. Well, we're John. No, never mind. They picked them up on the rock before they got to Barati, because they were like, Usopp was there.
Yes.
We forgot about Usopp, because Usopp is the one who's trying to shoot cannons at the rocks to like check out his like sniper.
He blows
ability.
up the rock, and that's when they find Johnny and Usaku.
Yeah,
and they're all dying of scurvy. It's like, eat some goddamn citrus.
It's stupid. So yeah, again, Barati, underrated arc. Really,
one of the few
really
instances of illness.
Yeah, truly. Which is kind of funny when you think about it, because they go through some really weird things. You think, I mean, it comes up really early in the Grand Line, and you almost think it's going to be. Yeah.
Nami gets the
whole reason for
Grand
Chopper
Line
being
fever.
The whole reason for Chopper being so important. So my girlfriend's reading One Piece, and I forgot all about this, but Luffy didn't even know that Chopper was a doctor when he brought him on.
No, he thought he was like rations.
Yeah, no. He just thought he was a cool reindeer that could transform 7 times. That's what he says. He's like, oh, I just think it's cool that he could. He was like, so he's already on the Mary. They're already driving. They're already floating away from.
You're a doctor?
Yeah, they call him Dr. Chopper. He's like, he's a doctor. Oh my god, it's so awesome.
I just love how they keep referring to him as extra rations, though.
So fucking funny.
Like early on in the series or whatever, Chopper's their extra rations.
Yeah, I love that when they're chasing
emergency rations.
When they're chasing him. Okay, so they're chasing him through Drum. They're chasing him through Drum, and then we get the flashback, and it's very emotional. We see that Chopper's a monster, but he like the idea of him being a monster is like almost racial and sad, and it's like an emotional scar inside of himself.
Right.
And then we come back to the present, and
he's like, come here so I can eat you.
I think it's Sanji and Luffy, and they see Chopper transform. They're like, ah, it's a monster! In like the least sensitive way possible. And it's fucking hilarious.
I know, dude.
Oh my god. So anyway, that is the Barati arc. It is currently ranked number 3 below the Paramount War, and Jaya ahead of Little Garden because it's just better in my opinion. So
Quick question: how much time do we got?
yeah, how much time do we have left, Nick?
Let's go with no more than 8 minutes.
Okay, we got.
Okay, let's continue on Drum a little bit.
Want to talk about Drum a little
Yeah.
bit?
We're already on it, so we might as well.
Have you seen movie 9, which is like a different interpretation of Drum?
Yes, it's weird.
A lot of people don't like it, but I
I
personally
thought
like
it was interesting.
Yeah, it's like
It was an interesting
Wapple's
take.
brother is like
Yeah.
the main villain,
Hey, multiverse theory, man.
and Vivi isn't there, but Robin is taking her place, and I think Frankie's even there.
Yes,
Weird, but really good. I really like the movie.
Like I said, dude, multiverse.
It's
It's
fun.
an
It's funny
alternate
because
take on it, so
it's funny because
interesting.
movie 8 obviously is right before it, and I watched them all in order.
Oh, the Alabasta one.
Yeah, and it's like a more literal translation. It's not like a more fantastical. Like this is a different like alternate reality type take on Arabasta.
Yeah.
It's literally Arabasta. Fucking worst movie in all of One Piece. It's the worst one. I hate that movie. And then I was like so worried that I would hate movie 9, and I fucking loved it. It was really good.
It's because they freshened it up.
Yeah, I guess. But no, I also love Drum. And,
Like, well,
and Arabasta sometimes for me feels a little long-winded, and I feel like I've been there so many times.
I look at movie 9 or whatever, and it's a fresh take on the series. They keep the key points that made the Drum arc great, but they buff it out for people that are current fans of the series or whatever, or that are following the series and are more like familiar with some of the current characters. So like someone that starts reading the series or whatever, I don't know why they would do this, but someone that starts reading the series after Alabasta or whatever, they're not going to know who Vivi is.
I suppose so. I don't.
So if someone,
I don't know if it's just like my hardcore fandom that I'm like, well, fuck them. To me, you don't have to cater. And One Piece is so goddamn. It's like Disney big in Japan. You don't really need to be like, well, Vivi was a thing before. Like they know, you know.
No, right.
But
that's why I'm saying like you look at movie 9 or whatever, and it doesn't look at Vivi. It like they're not making a callback to, oh, this person existed. They're taking the series or whatever, and they're being like, we're gonna give it a new look, a new take, but we're gonna keep the core elements, and we're gonna give a new telling of the story to our fans or whatever.
Well, I totally agree that what made Drum so special were their interactions with Chopper, especially this early on in his mental development, and then we get
and his flashbacks
and Dr.
and all
Hero
that
Look
stuff,
and his
Hero
relationship
Look.
with Dr. Kuina and all those kinds of things. Like those are the heart of that arc, and Dr. Hero Look's dream, and again it coming to fruition posthumously for him. All those things are really what make Drum so special. It really has nothing to do with Wapol or or Vivi or any of that kind of shit. You know. Also, Luffy's sacrifice that he makes for carrying Nami and Sanji after they're both injured and knocked out and sick and all that. He carries them.
The
Like,
anime kind of does that really well.
the emotional core of
Drum is
still there, and that's
yeah.
what's really important. And it's a beautiful arc. It's one of my favorites for sure. I probably have not reread any single arc more than Drum. That's how much I love that arc. And it's pretty short.
I love the flashback or whatever where it's like Chopper, he goes out to find this mushroom or whatever, he makes a cure or whatever, and Hero Look drinks it or whatever, he shows him he found it or whatever. He's all injured, and Hero Look still drinks it, eats it or whatever, and then he goes out and makes his speech.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful speeches in One Piece. Actually, my favorite. Like, when does a man die? And all these examples of no, it's when you are forgotten, and it's so beautiful.
And then it cuts
So,
back.
dude, Code Provider, he's a YouTuber who reviews anime and manga. He's a big One Piece fan. He has this video. He just watched. It's so fucking funny. He watched the episode of Mary.
Oh,
and
really?
It's about Mary's funeral. Like I haven't watched it yet, but anyway,
I don't want to watch it.
it starts out and Code is it's like the room's all dark and he's crying and he says, "When does the ship die? When it's fucking burned? No, it's when it's forgotten." And I fucking cracked up so much. And then the lights come on. He says, "I've been crying for the last 2 hours."
Holy crap!
Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. So anyway, yeah, I love Drum and I love movie 9. Fuck you if you don't love movie 9. Get the fuck out. I love movie 9. So good.
They can have their own opinions, man.
No, they can't. You are listening to me. I'm in your head right now. You love movie 9.
He's like the devil on your shoulder.
In your crotch.
That too.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a wrap, right?
Well, where would you rank Drum?
Dude,
I kind of want.
We haven't picked it. Actually, that's what we have to do. We have to
Yeah.
pick for next week.
I mean, we've kind of already talked about some of the. important.
If we're
aspects.
talking about drum, I want to really delve in because
Okay.
I love that arc so much. And there are maybe minor things that take away from it, but there's a lot of big things that we didn't even mention. We didn't mention the Lapons or Wapple or so many things that I think
Or Mr. Bull Guy.
If I want to chat about drum, we got to make this half an hour. You know
Or
what?
Vivi's flashback.
You know what?
Actually, Vivi's flashback.
You know
too.
what? Fuck picking out of the hat. We're doing drum next week. Sound good? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
We're gonna be talking about drum next week for
More
every
in
arc
depth.
ever.
You know what? I'm gonna rewatch movie 9 just so I could speak about that a little bit more. So awesome. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Cool. All right. So, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this. We're very appreciative. We have a Facebook and a Twitter and all those beautiful things you could check.
Go ahead and like us, comment, join the conversation, ask questions, all that stuff.
Ask questions. We will answer them on the podcast. So please ask questions. We would love that.
So, alrighty.
So, okay. Awesome. We are signing out. You guys have a brilliant night. Do all the beautiful things that you beautiful people do. Alex signing out.
I'm out here, and I'm Robert. See ya.
Goodbye.